At what point does disorder stop being an accident and become a pattern? Independence Day in Raleigh, North Carolina. 10,000 teenagers flood the streets. Chaos erupts. Fights, gunshots, and emergency curfews debated by city leadership. Is this simply another outbreak of youth violence? Or are we witnessing something deeper? A behavioral threshold. One of those invisible moments when society changes, not all at once, but gradually, until yesterday's exception becomes tomorrow's normal. History suggests that civilizations rarely collapse overnight. They drift across invisible thresholds first. Today's headlines may not simply describe isolated crimes. They may be revealing changes in collective behavior. Over the July 4th weekend, Raleigh, North Carolina, joined a growing list of American cities experiencing what have become known as teen takeovers, mass gatherings coordinated through social media that descend into violence and disorder. 5,000 teenagers gathered in Briar Creek, another 5,000 in Glenwood South. Then there is Chicago, Washington, D.C., Orlando, Milwaukee. Shall I go on? Businesses closed their doors before the crowds even arrive. Police struggled to contain the unrest as city leaders debated curfews, stronger enforcement, and the deeper causes behind these recurring events. But perhaps the more important question is this: why does this pattern feel strangely familiar? There's an old experiment that comes to mind, not because it predicts the future, and certainly not because humans are mice, but because it does offer a provocative lens through which to recognize certain patterns. In the 1960s, behavioral scientist John B. Calhoun created what became known as Universe 25. His mice had every material need provided: food, safety, shelter. By every measurable standard, it was a utopia. And yet, despite having every physical need met, their society eventually collapsed from within. Adult mice gradually abandoned their social roles. Mothers neglected their young. Aggression increased. Many of the younger mice grew up without stable behavioral models. Social bonds fractured. Order dissolved. The tragedy wasn't the loss of resources, it was the loss of the behaviors that held society together. They inherited abundance, but not example. A child is always watching someone. The question is, who? Every generation teaches the next what adulthood looks like. If not from parents, then from whomever is the loudest. Someone is learning adulthood from you. When adults withdraw from their responsibilities, when families weaken, when communities lose their ability to pass values from one generation to the next, young people never stop searching for belonging. If healthy tribes disappear, new ones always emerge. New rules, new hierarchies. Sometimes those hierarchies celebrate chaos itself. Perhaps that is the threshold. Not one riot, but the moment extraordinary behavior becomes ordinary. Teen flash mobs. Social media organized unrest. Citizens beginning to expect disorder rather than stability. These might be the signs that we are already crossing it. The real question is whether we recognize these patterns while they are still reversible. But if Calhoun's work offers any lesson at all, it's this: that the structural decay cannot be solved by enforcement alone. Healthy societies are not held together merely by laws. They are held together by millions of ordinary people quietly fulfilling ordinary roles and responsibilities. These are the parents, teachers, neighbors, mentors, each passing something worth inheriting to the next generation. Because order cannot be enforced into existence. It must be cultivated long before it is threatened. Societies rarely unravel because a handful of people become destructive. They unravel because millions of ordinary people slowly stop building what once held them together. We often imagine that civilization is something other people maintain. Governments, police, schools, somebody else. But civilization has always been an everyday habit before it ever became an institution. The question then is no longer what is happening to society. It becomes, what part of society am I no longer building? We spend so much time asking, who's destroying civilization? Perhaps the better question would be, who is quietly building it? Thresholds can be crossed in both directions. Just as societies slowly drift toward disorder, they can slowly rebuild trust. One family, one mentor, one neighborhood, one generation at a time. Riley's Weekend of Chaos is therefore more than another headline. It's a behavioral signal. Perhaps the threshold was never out there. It has always existed inside each generation, waiting to see whether enough ordinary people will choose responsibility over indifference. The real question is whether we will recognize one before we cross it ourselves. Because the fate of Universe 25, it was not inevitable, nor is the fate of Universe 26, us. Civilizations are never saved all at once. They are quietly built or quietly abandoned, one ordinary choice at a time. Today, someone is learning what adulthood looks like from you. After all, history is never inherited. It is imitated. The beast, the behavioral threshold monster, it needs only one thing, our convenience. Now it's breathing down our necks, ready to drag us deeper into Calhoun's behavioral sink. So go back to the feed that replaced your neighbors. Leave a comment in the comment section before you disappear, if you would. If you found anything worth thinking about, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, this is Katatu, saying so long from Universe 26, the channel at the end of the universe.